This week's prayer addresses something of tremendous importance to all of us. It's something that people tend to gradually forget over time. It's that tendency to forget where our blessings come from. When the children of Israel were on the threshold of entering the land of Canaan, that land flowing with milk and honey, Moses cautioned them that after they settled in the land and their wealth increased and they were at ease, not to forget the ultimate source of their blessing. He says, don't fall into the fatal assumption that this prosperity is all of your own doing, but rather remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth. God not only created the earth and everything in it, every material and spiritual blessing in our lives are results of God's provision, but even our ability to work with our hands and to think with our minds is also the gift of God. Now, near the end of David's life, we see a powerful example of the king and the nation remembering this truth. David and the people come together to contribute resources that would later be used by Solomon to construct the temple. The offering they gathered was, in a word, massive. Unimaginable amounts of gold, silver, and precious stones were generously donated by the people to adorn the house that would bear the name of their God. David's prayer explains their lavish generosity. Listen to what he says in 1 Chronicles 29, verse 16. Lord our God, all this abundance that we have provided for building you a temple for your holy name comes from your hand. All of it belongs to you. In other words, their financial sacrifice was an acknowledgement that everything they had was the gift of God, that they were mere stewards of God's abundant blessing. Here's why it's important for us to remember this as well. When people forget the source of this world's blessings, they begin to worship the material prosperity itself instead of the God who gives it. They start thinking that their lives consist of the abundance of things they possess. And soon their possessions take possession of them. And the Spirit of God is driven out. And with Him, all the spiritual blessings that He brings, such as a sense of gratitude, the impulse to be generous and open-handed, and a greater purpose for life than mere material accumulation. In other words, such people become prosperous on the outside, but their souls shrink to nothing on the inside. This is why God invites us to give to Him the first of our increase, not because He needs it, but because we need to give it. Generous people who sacrifice for the Lord that they love are the happiest people I know. Now spend some time this week in the prayer of David and notice the great joy that he and the people have when they come before Him bringing this lavish offering to God. And make it your prayer as you give generously to the God who gives you life. And learn to say with David, Lord, everything comes from you, and we have given you only what comes from your hand.